Hello, we are driving in my 2021 Crosstrek today. I said I would give you a review on the Crosstrek and somewhat of the buying experience. So far this car has been great. I mean, it's a brand new car. It should be great. That's what you should have when you get a brand new car. Now, I've had it for 6 months, bought it at the end of July. Now I have 11,012 miles. Yes, I have a lot of miles on it for 6 months when you consider the average person drives 13,000 a year. I drive 40 miles to work round trip, so 20 miles one way. And you just heard my car beeping for the lane departure warning. This car has almost all of what you can get. The only thing it doesn't have that I can think of is the sunroof package, which comes with cross traffic alert for the back for when you're backing up. Other than that, I think it's got almost everything, and that was kind of actually wasn't kind of at all. I wasn't even trying to get this package. I was trying to get the trim level that was lower than this. This is the Sport, and it just so happens that my car broke. I went to a dealership that had an appointment for me. I showed up. They sold the car from under me. So I went to another dealership. I went to Bergstrom, and that's in Wisconsin, in the Fox Valley. I went to Bergstrom. This is the only Subaru they had for sale on the lot at the end of July, and it wasn't even listed as for sale because they got it for a dealer trade, and they did the accessories. They ordered it with the accessories, the floor mats, the cover for in the back, the privacy cover, the plastic mat in the back, bumper guard, LED lighting. So there was all kinds of stuff on this Crosstrek that I wasn't even going to get. And with that, that's great because it's a Sport. Like I said, I was going to get the trim below the Sport. And with the Sport, you get the dual function X mode. So for those of you that are not familiar really with all the Subaru terminology, X mode is a traction control system that allows you to go a little bit more aggressively than what the actual car would allow you to do previously to the X mode, previously to Subaru having the X mode. So what happens is, just like almost any other car on the road today, the traction control would kick in and it would limit your throttle and that type of thing. With the X mode, the first setting of X mode, it makes the traction control system work more aggressively. And then with the second setting of X mode, it allows for a lot more wheel spin, which is good because obviously sometimes you need wheel spin. So this all kind of came about when they went to the Cvt Transmission with Subaru. That's a continuously variable transmission. So basically your car is always kind of in the peak spot where it needs to be for fuel mileage and performance. It's really a single speed. We can get more into that in a different video, but they started with all that stuff kind of at that time. A lot of people aren't fans of the Cvt transmission. In this car, they've done it better than what has been in the past. You don't have as much of that rubber banded type effect. So I really like it. I think it works good. I mean, it gets up, it does what it needs to do. From 0 to 60, they say it's pretty slow. I haven't officially timed it. I think it gets up and goes pretty good. This is the 2.5 liter engine in this car. The base models have a 2-liter engine in the car, and you can get it with a stick shift. You can get this car with a stick shift yet, so that's pretty cool. I wanted to go that route. but the problem with the stick shift is you don't get the eyesight, and the eyesight is one of the best safety features out there today that you can buy in a car. And we can get more into that in another video too, but the eyesight has the autonomous braking, the lane keep assist, and really this system, if you allow it to, like, you shouldn't take your hands off the wheel, of course, but if you allow it to, it will steer itself around the corners. We're probably not going to show that today because, as you can see, it is snowing out, and we don't want to do that. Not that I don't feel confident in the car, because I know that the car will do it as long as it can see the lines. That's part of the system. So like right here, you get into a situation where some of the lines are covered with snow, so we're just not going to show that today. Otherwise, the all-wheel drive system on Subarus has been phenomenal for years. It's just a great system. And I've had a lot of trucks in my life, and going from SUVs, pickup trucks with conventional four-wheel drive systems, the Subaru platform is the closest you can get to a conventional four-wheel drive system, in my opinion. And it works great for when you're turning around corners. You can have the wheel at full lock, left or right, turned all the way in each position, and it's not going to crab on you at all. And the system always has power to the front and the back. It's not a 50-50. Sometimes you might get that, but it's not always. What I'm trying to say with that is it's always got some power to the front and some power to the back. It is biased a little bit to the front. However, it's just a great system. So, you know, these cars just do phenomenal in the snow. People are getting into what they call soft roading, where you do a little bit of light off-roading. Maybe you go on some trails that are not very well maintained. We're probably going to do some of that with this car. I already did, but I didn't film it. I did a couple of small sections on the 7-hour plane crash trail. That is a trail that is starts in Crandon, Wisconsin, and stops in Upper Michigan. It goes for quite a ways. And then we're gonna do some of that stuff later on this summer. But anyway, it's just a really nice car, and Subaru did a great job with the Crosstrek with doing a car that has good gas mileage, great all-wheel drive, and has utility to it. This is a very utilitarian vehicle. You know, if you're coming from a truck and you hop in this car and you sit in it, and you're gonna be like, well, that doesn't seem like an SUV to me. And quite honestly, it is listed as a subcompact SUV. And like I said, if you're coming from a truck, you may not feel that, or a large SUV, you may not feel like it's really an SUV, a sport utility vehicle, but it really is. I was driving my son's Volkswagen a couple days this week. He has a Volkswagen Jetta sedan, and it's a 2012. And when I went back to this car, I could really feel in the suspension that utility presence that's there. Now, keep in mind that you can't load this car up with, you know, 1,500 pounds. That's not what it's meant for. However, I do take the whole family in here. I have 3 kids, myself, my wife, and we are an American-sized family. That's what I'm gonna say. We're an American-sized family, and the car does fine with that. And the kids sit in here, and it's more comfortable than I had a previous Subaru. I had a Subaru Forester before this. That was a 2006. So that was some time ago that was designed, but it's quite a bit more comfortable than that. We have a 2018 Mitsubishi Outlander. That's like a mid-size SUV. There is more room in the front seats of this Crosstrek than in that Mitsubishi Outlander. So all around, they did a great job with that. And don't let the subcompact category scare you on what you can get done with this car. We were at Costco a couple weeks ago, and you know how big those Costco shopping carts are? We had the cart full of all kinds of Costco merchandise, and it all fit in the hatch behind the rear seat. So we were able to, you know, we had 2 of my kids with us, and, you know, it was me and my wife and 2 of my kids, and it all fit behind the back seat, that huge Costco shopping cart. They do have a small tow rating on this car. It's 1,400 pounds, I believe, if I'm not making a mistake on that. So that is a little light, and Subaru says in the book that if you're to get to that 1,400 pounds, anything over 1,000 pounds, you should really have trailer brakes. I don't think that's something that anybody does, but I should throw that out there to, you know, to let you know that if you're going to go to that 1,400 pounds trailer weight, you should technically have electric brakes on your trailer and fixed up on the car to communicate with that trailer properly. I do tow a 4x8 trailer with it, you know, so that's good enough for, my trailer is pretty light. That's good enough where you could throw a full-size four-wheeler on that trailer and you'd still be within the range, and you're good to go. You can throw a snowmobile on that trailer. This car, that would be fine. You know, that would be, you know, close to its top end. You know, but that's something that you can do. That's how, what makes these cars so utilitarian, so able to do things. Whether it's having to haul the family if you have to, if you have, you know, you don't want to haul the family on a regular basis, you know, in here. They are a little, you know, it's not an absorbent amount of space back there, but it's not bad for a subcompact SUV. So they just do a good job with that. And at the price point of which you're looking at for a mid-sized SUV right now, or a large SUV, they're getting extraordinarily expensive. You know, I'm not trying to rip on any brand or anything like that, but look at like the Tahoe, the Chevy Tahoe. You're getting in the $70-some thousand for a decently equipped one. The Jeep Grand Wagoneer that just came out, you know, those are, it doesn't take any work at all to get those over $100,000. This car was stickered at $26,000. My sticker was not inflated. I didn't pay over sticker. I did buy some add-ons with the car. Ceramic coating, hitch, crossbars on the top for the roof rack. Yeah, I did buy a factory extended warranty, because I do believe the manufacturer's warranty is actually only around 36,000 miles. It is probably. I don't know exactly what our new warrant with our extended factory warranty goes up to right now off the top of my head. But even at, you know, years ago, 26 was going to be a lot of money, and it kind of is today too. And when you start talking these big SUVs, I just can't wrap my head around that. So this fits for a lot of people. A lot of people really can't afford that. You know, if you have a house, you have kids, you know, you can't afford that huge price tag on today's large SUVs. Not to mention the gas price. The gas price, of course, you know, that's always something that people are concerned with. Right now, with 34 miles on the trip meter, my car is saying I'm getting 25.1 average miles per gallon. Keep in mind that this is January in Wisconsin, and when it's cold, you don't get good gas mileage. In the summertime, I was getting 33, 34, and that's what it's, I think it's rated at, to get 34 miles to the gallon. So that's pretty good for an all-wheel drive car that has 8.7 inches of ground clearance. That's a pretty good amount of ground clearance for a vehicle. You know, granted, you know, you get into Jeeps and that type of thing, you know, it's a bit more, but that's another thing that helps with this car's capability for, you know, light off-roading, is that 8.7 inches of ground clearance, and to be able to get that gas mileage of up to 34 miles to the gallon. And like I said, it's got a 2.5 liter engine, so it, you know, it all around, it does pretty good. So I'm quite happy with this car for the most part. Some of the things that I don't like, sometimes depending on your seating position and how far out the wheel, it's telescoping wheel, sometimes it feels like you are making a reach. I am a little further forward today, so I'm not really reaching at all. One of the problems that I've experienced with this, or a couple of the problems that I've experienced with this car, is that the USBs that plug in under the radio, for whatever reason, every once in a while they will start pulsing power on, power off, and I don't know why that is. I've taken it in, they've tried to fix it, it hasn't fully gone away. And then I've had it where the FM and AM radio does not work, but the satellite would. If you plugged your phone in, the radio would work, and that's only very temporarily. I think it has something to do with when you're backing the car up and the camera comes on for the backup camera. I think it has something to do with how that resets when you start going in the drive. I don't know. The other thing is I had a problem with the driver's side mirror. It wasn't really a problem, as more of an inconvenience. We're so spoiled in today's world, and this is one of those things where the driver's side was defrosting at a much slower rate than the passenger side. So I took it in, they took care of it. It took a little bit of back and forth with that to get it taken care of, you know, but they did eventually take care of that, and they're working on the stereo issue, so I'm going to keep them updated on that. But like I said, overall this is a great car. Maybe not for family use every day, but when you need to, it works. It does the job it needs to do. You can get the kids in here, you can even get the dog in the back. We have an old English sheepdog, they're a large breed, so we could have the whole family in here. We could have the sheepdog in back. We have another dog that's a Shorkie, he's a small little guy. You could have the whole show in here. You could have a kayak on the roof. I've had the kayak on the roof. You know, you could have stuff on the roof, you're towing a little trailer. It does what it needs to do. So we'll have some more videos on the Subaru EyeSight, the autonomous braking, and that type of thing with this car. And some of the things, we're going to get into a video with some of the things that maybe you didn't know were there. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with this video today, is give you the information about the Subaru Crosstrek and how I like it, and you know what's going on with this type of car. Should you want to get into something like this, if you're on the fence, you know, with another model or whatever, I would highly recommend it. And the one thing I didn't throw in there, I just thought of it, is with this option, the seats are what they call, I think, StarTech seats, and those are water resistant seats. So they really put a lot of thought into the active consumer with these cars. So there you have it. That's my thoughts and my experience with my 2021 Subaru Crosstrek with now 11,029 miles. Thank you.